Well, I think our relationship is such that I trust him that way, and I think that he trusts me. But certainly, you have to think about that stuff before you decide to do something like this, because when it's work is work. We got to win games, and he's the boss. So, but I think being a good assistant coach, your job is to take work off the plate of the head coach. I always believe that my best assistant coaches were guys that were work takers, not work makers. So I try not to make work for our boss.
So how is this camp different for you then, coming from that head coaching perspective to being an assistant head coach and defensive coordinator? Do you feel like you have more responsibility, less responsibility, since you just said what you said?
Well, I think you have different responsibilities. I mean, an assistant coach has different responsibilities than a head coach. It's not more or less, so to speak, but it's just very different.
How do you feel your group is doing? The safeties, we spoke to a bunch of them. How do you feel? Who's standing out to you right now in camp, day 5?
I sure am pleased the way they're working. They're working their tails off. We're not very good yet, but we're working our tails off. I think Malik Hooker has shown that he has the ability to be a really good player. Now we need to do it consistently. I think Damon Webb has shown that in spurts. We need to do it consistently. The rest of the guys are, I'd say the rest of them are just a notch below. It's not very far, though. And the thing that I like is they're working their tails off. I mean, they really are trying to get better, competing. So usually when you get a group that does that, the cream will rise to the top, and we'll find 4 guys that we can go in there with the 2 deep.
Greg, Cam and Eric coming off of serious injuries. Can you still see that they're rusty or physically maybe limited or maybe mentally limited because of the injuries?
Well, I think Cam and Eric are a little different in that one's an ACL.
Right.
And I think Eric won't have true confidence no matter what he thinks or says until he goes out there in a scrimmage and plays live football. Cam, I think, is a little different, although I'm not trying to downplay his surgery. I just think it's a little different.
Are they really close to competing with the other two, or how close is that competition?
Well, right now the whole thing's wide open. We haven't named anybody at either of the one position is a little different, so it takes a little different character traits as opposed to the strong safety. So I think certain guys we're trying to decide. If you remember in the spring, we played them at both to try to get everybody a look at both sides. And we're starting to zero in. We got a game coming up here in less than a month, so I think that'll kind of help direct the funnel a little bit.